35 years after the very first so-called test tube baby, it's estimated that 5 million others have been born. But would-be parents using in vitro fertilization are faced with an agonizing decision: what to do with frozen embryos they don't want to implant. Well, as senior health correspondent Monica Robbins reports, one option is slowly catching on.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about.
As Stephanie and David Reeves sit here, a stranger hundreds of miles away is having their baby. But it's a baby that won't be a Reeve once born.
I, as a mom, just have to keep telling myself, you know what, this embryo would still be frozen in a freezer if she did not give it life.
The Reeves are one of millions of U.S. couples who struggled with infertility. After years of trying to conceive, they turned to in vitro fertilization. In IVF, doctors create an embryo in a lab using the couple's sperm and egg. It's then implanted back into a woman.
Hi!
Thanks to IVF, the Reeves now have 3 children, but they also had 13 frozen embryos left over. Researchers say that's common. There are an estimated 600,000 frozen embryos in limbo right now in the U.S. alone. The Embryo Adoption Center says 70% of couples eventually come back and use their own embryos. 14% abandon or discard them. 8% donate them to research, and another 8% donate them to struggling couples trying to adopt.
The problem with embryo adoptions is the availability of embryos. I do believe the thought of having someone else raise what they consider as their child to be a little tough for some of them to handle, so they choose to discard.
Not for the Reeves.
I thought, man, if you could help other families along, where they don't have to get through the struggle of just getting to that point, that would be a big help.
That's when Wendy Clark came into the picture. At the time, Clark was 39 years old, wanted to have a baby, but just hadn't met the right man.
Last summer, a friend called me. She said, I have a friend of a friend who has embryos that they're looking to donate. Are you interested?
I think she'll be a good mom, and I think that's what ultimately those feelings and sort of that gut feeling led us to donate the embryo to her.
And now Wendy is 9 months pregnant, ready to start a family of her own.
People can say it's weird and just untraditional, but it's the world that we live in right now.
Nightlight Christian Adoptions is a child placement agency that pioneered the embryo adoption process 17 years ago. It calls the frozen embryos snowflakes and says there have been more than 360 snowflake babies born.
If we can give someone else the joys of family and children like we've experienced, then if that's, I think, no better gift to give someone.
Yeah.
Now it's all my baby, and I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Monica Robbins, Channel 3 News.
Well, Wendy doesn't have to wait anymore. Since shooting this story, she has given birth to a little boy named Victor. The Reeves have already met Victor, and although they are still working through the details of their relationship, they hope to stay in touch with Clark and her son.